like Jesus will save them or something. And he just went along with that because he actually is kind of a coward and he's afraid of his base.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I've had debates on Trump
Yeah, so you're not going to
for
respond
years
to what I
while he was
said.
on there.
You're not going to respond to what I said,
And
are you?
yeah, and so, when you talk about attitudes, I mean,
He's the
the one
president. That's what he's supposed to
yes,
be doing. Attitude.
now you're starting to interrupt me because you're so triggered at what I'm
Well,
saying
I
is
don't think you're
basically
going to
when it comes
respond to
to
what I said.
policies, yeah, when it comes to policies, right? It is that to me is what we debate in politics, the platform, the things that he's actually accomplished. Whether it's Jerusalem, even the little things, right?
Yeah, you just changing the
What do you
subject.
think about things he does?
You're just
Then
changing the
then there's
subject.
a well, but
I was
what
talking about
about
pandemic.
he's he said his father was born in Germany. Like, this is all they
I
have to
don't know
talk about.
why you're just babbling. I'm talking about his response to the pandemic. You're talking about Jerusalem. I mean,
The
just
response to the pandemic is not on his shoulders.
oh, okay, yeah, because he's just the
What do you
president,
think
right?
about Trump's trade war with China? That he got bailed out because
Oh,
of the pandemic.
I actually think that was really good as far as the tariffs
Are
that
you
he
out of your mind?
proposed and stuff like that. I actually think that he unlike previous presidents before him, ever since Nixon, ever since the reason why they got favored trade status, what became of it from their government, I think the United States is responsible for China becoming who they are. I think Trump, even uh, the previous presidents didn't do anything about intellectual theft. I mean, just the whole thing. Trump did what was right, was just stand up to China.
Yeah, so I agree. You should stand up to China, but the way he did it was just complete ass backwards. Even what's his name, Mnuchin, was totally against him. And if you read anything about what economists say about it, they say that the way to go up against China is to build relationships with people in the region, not to antagonize people and drop out of summits and shit like that, dude. His trade war was bad. It hurt us. It didn't help at all. We went basically it bankrupted a ton of our farmers, right? And then we got back to almost where we were before. It was just a net negative.
No, okay, this is what the trade war was such that yes, China went after Trump's constituents, which were the farmers, and yes, he hurt them. But if you notice that even with the money that they were getting from tariffs, they were easily able to support the farmers and so forth with plenty to
Yeah, they
spare.
supported big businesses.
And
They were the
I
most
think that
bankruptcies
China
of all
actually
time.
lost that attempt to get to the farmers.
Dude, there were more bankruptcies than ever in some period of time during that trade war from farmers.
Yeah, I used to actually.
How
about this? I used to actually look at now. If you travel the middle of the country, they farm two things: soybeans and corn. When you start looking at the trade, which I did, I don't know if you did, Jeff. At that time during the trade war, it went down from $1,000 to $800. Right. Right. Currently, it's about $1,600. These farmers are making money hand over fist right now because of Trump.
Yeah, I don't see how that's the case.
You don't see how that's the case. I can tell you exactly why that's the case. Economic.
Okay.
I mean, he'll just say anything. Like, I don't even, he'll just say anything.
I just want to hear, what's the case?
First and foremost, you don't hear farmers complaining right now about hardship.
Well, can you just tell us how he made it better?
Yes. He made it so that when he was attacking China, the China retaliated by not buying soybeans specifically from the United States and other farm products. Right? They were hurting themselves, and they were causing a drop in the market globally, not just in the United States.
Right.
And so, uh, from that interaction, Trump was able to raise tariffs. Right? And so he was in position with negotiations with China over trade. Now, Mnuchin, he was negotiating in the sense of taking Trump's orders, and so irrespective of whether he agreed with Trump or not is irrelevant because Trump was basically in charge of that aspect.
The reason why I mentioned it is because Mnuchin knows more about economics than Trump does.
Well, he may not know about negotiations more than Trump
Yeah,
does.
Trump's a wheeler and dealer. He's just so smart. I mean, so my
I think he
understanding is
knows
that
about a lot of power play things, and
my understanding is like
he
by the
knows
end of the
that-
summer, like September time, the tariffs were just kind of like falling off. We were back to the exact same situation we were before, except that we lost a ton of money and a bunch of farmers went bankrupt. So if there's something else that I'm missing here, then you could just tell me how it is the case that he did something that helps farmers now.
even when it comes to production that came from China, it was such the case that national security was being affected because all of our supplies, even for simple things like the iPhone or whatever,
Dude, you're changing the
were
subject. I
taken from
agree.
parts only made in
That's
Yes, you
about
China.
need
the
to be a part of
tariffs.
China about Red Sea. How did he change the way
That's
that
what he
farmers
does.
deal business?
He just scattershots all over the place. He's changing the subject.
Like,
No,
John,
no.
I'm completely fine with being
Actually,
wrong. Just tell me how I'm wrong.
China gave up on their attempts to go after Trump supporters. That's exactly what they were doing. They were targeting Trump supporters to put pressure.
Yeah, because they negotiated.
Okay.
China wanted the tariffs off, and then they took the tariffs off. We both had a net loss, and nothing changed. That's my understanding. And if I'm wrong about that, then show me I'm wrong.
Yeah, no. Well, sometimes
You said what Trump did put farmers in a better position today.
I understand, but no, I understand. What you're looking at is the numbers, the net loss of China, the net loss of, and we all understand going all the way back to the depression about protectionism, how it's not beneficial. What you're not understanding is the political advantage. You're looking at the economic.
Yeah,
loss.
I think protectionism is bad, and that like buttressed protectionism and told China that they need to start making relationships with other countries in the region, which is what they're doing, and we're missing out on those people on the fence that aren't going to that know China's a piece of shit, but they're not going to wait for us to fucking come rescue them because their livelihood depends upon it. That's my understanding, but if I'm wrong, I'm not a friggin' genius in econ, dude, but I think this is just a general consensus. And so far, you've just been wishy-washy about the claims you've made. My phone's dying, so I gotta go.
Didn't he just have to compensate the farmers for stupid tariffs in the first place?
He did.
Yeah,
oh wow. Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's real protectionism. It's like, oh, don't worry, we'll just pay the farmers off.
Yeah, just bail them out.
Obviously, it doesn't work because they needed a bailout.
Yeah, just print money, right? Just increase the debt. You guys care about that, right?
Yeah, don't even get me started on the debt. That's about 30 trillion.
Here he does it. See what he's doing. You see what he's doing, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go, but I think it's pretty clear what happened. I gotta go.
That's what happened. Yeah, just going on to the next.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to gish gallop, but, you know, I definitely know why I support Trump and any type of policy, whether it's this policy or that policy, I could definitely defend it against the alternative, which is the left.
Yeah, it's just, there's nothing Christian about this. This is why I say that you're like a hoe, you know.
And the often attack is, well, he's not even Christian. The point is, I'm not here to elect a Christian for president. I'm not here to elect a Rhodes Scholar like Bill Clinton. I'm not here to, elect a gentleman. Who cares if somebody's a gentleman? What I care about is the policies, and if he's going to implement it and keep his promises to his constituents. These are the things I care about. Not like Obama claiming amnesty for somebody and just totally stiffing the Hispanics for 8 years. Like, I don't care about stuff like that.
When you say you can defend it against the left, what does that mean?
Yeah, each individual policy, sure. Anything that has to do with policy, I can easily defend.
So, like, can you defend the claim that capitalism is sustainable?
Oh, that's a whole different other topic. I thought we're talking about Trump and his actual policies rather than his personalities.
Well, I take it that his policies, I take it you would agree that his policies are aimed at preserving capitalism rather than superseding it.
Oh, of course, but that's even for the Democrats as well.
That's right, I agree. But I was saying, so when you're talking about the left, right, there's a part of the left that thinks that capitalism should be replaced.
Not if you look at Wall Street and who they support.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying that Wall Street generally supports the Democratic Party to
What
preserve
did I
capital.
say? What did you hear me say that was a response to? I don't get it. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, you said something about the conservatives trying to, or Trump specifically trying to conserve capitalism.
No, what I said was there's a portion of the left, right, that wants capitalism to be superseded.
Yeah, an extremely small portion, like maybe the Bernie faction,
What difference does it
even
make
that's
whether
welfare
it's
capitalism.
what difference does it make whether it's small or not? I don't see the relevance of that. I'm asking, right, would you be able to defend Trump's policies against the view that of those on the left who would say, well, those policies are just aimed at preserving capitalism, right? And so since capitalism is unsustainable, then they weren't good policies, because the only good policy would be the ones that conduce to the replacement of capitalists. Would you be able to defend that?
The replacement of capitalism is better, certainly.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to understand, do you disagree with the claim that capitalism is unsustainable?
Of course.
Okay, so do you understand on what basis that claim is made?
Not exactly, no.
Well, it's based on what's called the labor theory of value. Do you know what that is?
Or would support the view that capitalism is unsustainable.
Well, it would be the data that corroborates the labor theory of value, which basically implies that capitalism is unsustainable.
And so who would hold to that theory? Like what, Paul Krugman?
No, Paul Krugman doesn't hold to that view. It's a view that's held by Marxist economists.
Oh, I've heard a lot of lectures from that one guy. I forgot his name. That he goes around various campuses talking about socialism.
I'm not sure you mean is that Wolf? What's his name? Robert?
Yes, thank you. You know exactly what I was talking.
Yeah, well, I don't really know much about his views. I've never watched any of his.
It was so stupid. I mean, he was basically saying that the person that makes chairs is taking advantage of the labor of the people, of the people who make the chairs themselves.
The person who makes chairs was taking advantage of the people who makes the chairs themselves?
No, the person who sells the chairs, in other words, who's responsible for the production of the chairs, were taking advantage of the laborers who actually assembled the chairs.
Well, that's not exactly what the view is. There's a concept of exploitation in Marxian economics, whereby the workers employed by, say, a factory owner are understood to be exploited. But that has a technical meaning, right? That means that basically the value that the workers, the total quantity of value that the workers produce, they're only remunerated for a portion of, right? So in other words, workers produce all the value, but they're only paid a portion of the total value that they produce. Capitalists just pocket the rest.
Sometimes they're compensated for more than the value that's produced, Jack.
What would be an example of that?
Businesses that aren't profitable. Businesses that take 5 years to become finally profitable.
No. A business that's unprofitable, it doesn't follow from the fact that a business is unprofitable that a worker is not exploited. All that's required is that there's a differential between the total value that the worker produces and the value that they're paid. The value of their wage, in other words.
So you're saying that profit has nothing to do with what they ought to be paid? That's ridiculous.
I didn't say that.
What I'm trying to say is that let's say you have a chair company, a startup chair company. They hire people to assemble the chairs, and the chairs are sold at a certain price, and it has to be a competitive price within market value. When they do this, at that current time, they are not making a profit. So the wages that the workers receive are not proportional to the value that they're receiving for the chair. They're overcompensated based upon just. Go ahead.
But that's not. I don't see how that's contradicting anything that I've said.
You're calling that exploitation.
Well, I'm just saying exploitation has a technical meaning, which is that there's a differential between the value of the wage and the total value the worker produces in the time that they're given that wage for.
Now, I do remember when I was very young, in my early 20s, my very first business, I remember minimum wage back then was $5 an hour. And what I do remember is that my employees were getting paid more than I was at the time when I bought the business. And even if I worked, several hours a day, I don't think that the employees have that impression of somehow being exploited. Now, when it's very profitable, an employee might think that they're doing all the work while, let's say the owner or the corporation is making money hand over fist. But that view is not necessarily based upon the understanding that businesses go out of business. There are corporations that go out of business and so forth. And I believe the Small Business Administration says that 95% of businesses go out of business within 5 years.
Well, that's not contradicting anything that I said.
Well, I was just protesting to the word exploitation, irrespective of whether you understand a certain term or not. I think that the market value establishes the pay, the price of the product. I think it's the efficiency of that market that makes it sustainable. That's how I look at it.
Why would something be efficient mean it's sustainable?
Because when it comes to like a supply and demand, that particular balance represents sustainability.
No, what it recommends is like, specifically efficiency towards, pricing and stuff like that. It doesn't make the system sustainable, right? I don't see why something could make a system make it specifically priced really well and stuff like that, make it sustainable. There could be certain problems with perhaps it feels like what the conversation's about is specifically predictions made by Marxism and whether capitalism's going to fail. Am I correct in that?
Well,
that's what I was bringing.
Yeah, right, Jack. You're specifically talking about Marxist predictions, and things of that sort, saying that capitalism, relies on maybe things like infinite growth and things that would entail that's not sustainable. Maybe like labor-saving technology constantly increasing, causing equilibrium price to constantly decrease to the point where it wouldn't be sustainable in any sense, right? You were talking about supply and demand John, how familiar are you with equilibrium price and specifically the predictions made by Marx?
Well, I mean, I don't know that much about Marx. I think I know enough to be able to debate the topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as when so you're talking about the control of production, distribution, and trade. That's how you understand it.
What I'm talking about specifically is labor time and the seemingly how things are priced, or what kind of causes pricing in the market. There seems to be some influence of labor time within within the pricing of specifically of like standard goods, right?
Well, I would
Like,
disagree.
raw metal.
When you consider something like Venezuela, they were charging what, like 30 cents a gallon for their fuel, right?
I'm not. That's when the supply and demand is different, right? That's when supply. It's when you have something of. I guess it's like 30 cents a gallon. I suppose they have an insanely high supply, right? And obviously, in that case, it's going to cause the market price to be different. However, we want to say that these graphs are perpetuated, made up of labor time, right?
No, their prices are not. Just to let you know, their prices are not determined by an insanely high supply, as you said.
I'm not trying to say.
One of the things is we're talking about refined petroleum, right? And they don't have refineries; they have to import refined petroleum.
I take it that they. So, do you think they have not a high supply? They have actually a very low supply.
They only have a very high supply of crude oil.
No. I understand that. When you're saying the amount that they import isn't a lot.
My point. I'm talking about the price. Okay.
Yeah. I understand that they import it. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything.
Because the price that they charge for gasoline is not based upon the production costs of the crude itself. It just so happens it's subsidized by the reserves that they have of crude oil, but not by the petroleum.
So then they have a market cap, right? So if you were to draw standard supply demand curve.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that their price of their petroleum.
Sorry. Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth connected.
Okay, for those of you that have the Ender 3, and I don't know about the Pro, so I'm not going to speak about the Pro. I'm just going to talk about what I have. I hear that everybody's having problems with the Auto Home. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to set your printer up. When you turn your printer on for the first time during a day or any day of the week, and you want to make new prints, this is what you do, and it will fix your issue. I didn't call the company because they don't talk in English and all kind of crap. So I figured this out on my own. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the menu and I'm going to go ahead and go to prepare, and then I'm going to go to home access. Now I've already put it on home access, and let me just move. I'm just going to move it all up and out of the way for right now, so that you know that it's kind of out of order. So I'm going to go to home access. Hit prepare, push down, go to auto home, and then it's going to just move and do its thing.
Have you got a problem with setting up your Z offset? Well, we're going to show you how, and we're starting right now. Hey, welcome to the First Layer. My name's Richard. I'm your host here every Wednesday and live stream Saturday night. On Saturdays, we take your questions and we answer them live for you during our live stream at 7 o'clock Saturdays, right here on the First Layer. But today, we're looking at the Z offset. And I've been getting a lot of requests to cover this topic. People are having problems getting their Z offset to really line up. And first of all, what is the Z offset? The Z offset is that distance between your nozzle and your build plate at the home position. So when it starts printing, that's where your offset is. Now, why do people typically need a Z offset? Well, it's over to the display on the printer now, and I'm going to show you the absolute easiest way to do this. All right, the absolute easiest way to do this is, first of all, you're going to need a Post-it note. Pretty simple. You probably have some of these around your house, or a piece of printer paper. I like using the Post-it notes because I find that they are the exact thickness that I need to set my Z offset. So we're going to take one of those. We are going to heat up the printer, so we're just going to go ahead and go into our prepare menu. We're going to allow the printer to heat up. We're going to preheat our PLA. We'll let that take a minute, and then we will show you how to do the Z offset. All right, so we're up to temperature. Now, the easiest thing to do here is I like to do this warm because...
Hello? Hello?
Good evening, Robert. I'm Civil calling. Is this a good time to talk to you?
Yeah?
Robert, you have just applied for a job cooking and kitchen assistant in Carlin Lodge.
Yeah. I'm not a cook or anything though, that's the thing.
Okay. Can you make basic meal? Have you ever?
Oh yeah. Yeah, basic stuff, yeah.
So, right. Okay.
You might want somebody with more qualifications in it or something, would you?
Not such qualification as long as you can make traditional English food like cottage pie, fish and chips. Basically, that we cook fish and chips.
Oh yeah.
Our one.
Yeah.
Our one. So that we don't make fancy food there. But like, do you interest in cooking? Do you, not many people fit into the cooking job, but again, it's not a hard job. If you're a clean and tidy person who can, in a care home setting, you have got some paperwork to maintain, like fridge temperature and, what meal you are making. So, have you worked in that kind of environment?
No.
You haven't worked, okay. What you are currently doing?
Yeah, I've got no qualifications at all other than in electronics and maths.
Okay.
Will I need to pass a DBS?
Yeah, so have you got a problem with the DBS?
Yeah, I won't be able to pass one.
Oh, okay. So if you don't mind, like, what is the condition your DBS is prepared, like what kind of condition you have got?
A very serious crime.
Okay. Then you won't be able to, Robert, because it's
I've got to tell you though, I'm not a nonce or any of that stuff.
Say it again?
I'm not a nonce or a nappy snapper.
Okay.
But I committed a very violent crime some years ago.
Right. Okay. No, then you won't be able to, because it's adult and social care.
Yeah.
You have to pass. Oh.
Okay then.
All right.
Thank you for phoning.
Okay, then you take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. we're seeing now.
We will show you how to do this Z offset. All right, so we're up to temperature. Now, the easiest thing to do here is I like to do this warm because you need to make sure that everything has expanded properly. Your bed has to have had chance to expand, and so has the nozzle. If you don't do this with a hot nozzle and a warm bed, what you're going to find out is that your offset will be off at the end. So what we're going to do is, again, we're just going to go down to prepare. We're going to home the printer. Okay, so now we're going to take our piece of Post-it note. We're going to put it right underneath the center of that bed. And we're going to start to bring down the print head. We're going to go to prepare. We're going to say move axis down to move. Move Z, and in this case we're going to start with 1 millimeter. So we can see here on our display, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but on our display, we're set at +10. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start to reduce that by turning it to the left. And we'll go down in 1 millimeter increments until we get to 0. Now we've got a fair amount of space there. So I'm going to bring it down to -1. I still have a lot of space. I'm going to bring it down to -2. I still have a lot of space there. -3, it's quite tight. So I'm going to back it off to -2. I'm going to hit the button. That's going to return me to the previous menu. I'm now going to go down to move to 0.1. So I'm going to be moving now in a 0.1 or 100 micron length. And I'm just going to test each time as I bring that down by 0.1 increments or 100 microns. And I'm just going to test each time I do that. And I can see I've still got a ways to go here. 3 was too much. .9 is too much. 2.8 is about right there in the center. Okay? So I know that my offset now is -2.8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this menu, and we'll reset the camera and we'll show you exactly where to add this into your menu. So now we know that our number should be -2.8, somewhere in there. So we're going to go into our menu screen. We're going to go down to control now, and
Why can't I disable steppers?